Hello, and welcome to the Inbetween Podcast. I'm your host, Joe Scorn. I'm joined here by Tony Tones at RT. How are you, Tony?
Hello. It's a rare actual Sunday this time.
I'm looking for my notes, and I'm looking at a photo of Venomized Groot instead. Here we go. Here's my notes.
Okay, sorry. That's my fault. I'm sorry.
Distracted me. Tony, why are we looking at Lego? What's going on here? What are these
The
images?
Lepin.
Yeah, we seem to have...
What I built
Well,
today.
I recognize these guys from playing the Lego Ninjago game.
Yes.
But,
Yes.
So I weirdly know what this is, kind of.
So I genuinely the first time I people know Ninjago, you're like, oh, you must have seen the cartoon or the film first. No, I saw people reviewing Lego sets first, and I didn't even know there was a TV show of it until someone's in a review talked about it. Like, what?
Well, there's a
Okay.
movie as well. I've seen the movie of Lego
Yeah.
Ninjago.
Yeah, so I believe this season is after that movie, I believe, with
Okay.
like elemental stuff that came afterwards. I think. I don't actually know the timeline. But I've had this set on my
There's
shelf for 6
elemental
months
stuff
not being built.
in the film, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. But this is like there were elemental stuff in the year previous. This is like more elemental stuff, I believe, or it's the second year of the same set. One of the two.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you got this dragon.
I bought this 6 months ago.
But you've only just built it, sort of thing, have you?
Well, let's just say there wasn't any room before to display it or put it anywhere. So
you're somebody who I know has bought extra tables to store more Lego sets. Yeah.
Yes, I need more. I need to buy another shelf for my Star Wars ships as well. So last weekend I built the advanced decks of TIE Fighter, sorry. Like the one that Darth Vader flies.
Sure, yeah. Because I was saying that I was like, I was building the Groot Lego, and you were like, Venomous Groot is a thing, and I was like, there's no fucking way. And then I'm like, no way. Actually, there's a thing called Venomous Groot.
There's 4 Groots I can think of. There's one that you sent me that was like a standing Groot. There's a potted Groot. There's a Venomized Groot, and recently there's been Groot listening to music.
But you were saying, well, maybe they thought like is that baby Groot or is that normal size Groot?
That's it's like either potted Groot is baby Groot, and then there's like teenage Groot, I guess.
Because we had the whole thing with the Mandalorian where Disney didn't think that Baby Yoda was going to be that popular, so they made like almost no merch for it, and then it got really popular, and they were like, shit,
it was like very popular,
caught with their pants down. They're like, shit, we have to make as much Baby Yoda merch as possible. So I guess they were just betting on the Groot stuff being really popular.
Well, I think the Lego group did. The theory is that they built or they designed these molds. They have these like molds in their factories they can create and printed stuff ready to print eyes and things. It's like we need to use it, so we might as well like reuse it on like different versions of Groot. People like Groot, I suppose, and like if they're like potted plants, like it's a little bit easier to display, I suppose, than the standing one.
Though, because you can get those Lego potted plants, right? I do think those.
Yeah.
Those are quite nice recently around the house.
I can't remember what the word is. The old people's flowers. They did recently the new set of flowers, and so they look really cool.
Because I have some like fake flowers in my windowsill.
Is really good
off my room, and they're just random fake plants. But I did have a real plant, and I remember it just kept fucking dying because I kept forgetting to water it, and then shrimp knocked it over and smashed it, and I was like, I cat shrimp, and I was like, okay, it's gone now. It's gone.
But yeah, my favorite plants that I own is the orchid. That looks really good.
Yeah.
I have a couple of other ones as well. Like the little succulents are really good as well. That's my second favorite. But yeah, I need to get. I want to get more of them. I want to get more like the flowers in a vase sort of thing. A lot of the ones I've got are just like little pots of plants.
Cool.
But those are really popular.
You've had this Lego set a while, but you haven't had space to build it yet into the collection.
Yeah, things are cleaned out.
How does this go? Are the Lego Ninjagos fighting the dragon in the city? Does it go with a city theme?
I like to believe so. Yeah.
Okay.
The ninjas are like the
they are in a city in
the
video game and the film. Which the video game's cutscenes are just scenes from the film.
Yeah. Lloyd,
my son, Lloyd.
I think I know how to pronounce my own son's name.
Yeah.
No, my plan was to make. So my plan with the police, obviously the police, right? I was going to make the stormtroopers the army for the city, so they can go in with their tanks, and then obviously the ninjas are going to be gang warfare. That's my plan.
Okay.
You can't stop me.
That looks good. You got the classic Lego remover piece. You probably have like 20 of these at this point.
Well, that's actually the So the orange one is normal. So that's the ideas one is normally that color, like the I guess
they give you some
color.
variety, do they?
I prefer the teal color than the bright orange one for sure. Yeah.
Wait, so this was a Lego ideas. This was a community submitted idea, was it?
No, it's not. I don't know why they gave me the teal one. Like, normally, you only get the teal one with Lego ideas. This is the first time I've got it in Ninjago, so...
Maybe they were running out of stock of the orange ones, and they're like, "Oh, just send them a teal one."
I don't know. No idea.
Could be.
Maybe they thought, oh, orange is like for Lego City or like children's stuff. Like we don't want to like do the same. I don't know. I don't know what the thought process there was. Well, so this is just a part of the Ninjago line. So
we did a podcast a week ago, so there hasn't actually been that much news. But historically, every time I say that, it ends up being the longest podcast ever.
We make our own news.
But we'll go into games of it. So Tony, this week, big week, I started playing a Final Fantasy game. I've been playing Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, the first part of the Final Fantasy remake. I finished Katamari Damacy. I really like Katamari Damacy. I really do not get on with the controls of that game, but
you still don't?
No.
Okay.
I've also been playing a couple of co-op games. So I started playing Chained Together, which I think I streamed to you for a bit, which is the one where you all get chained to each other, and it's a bit like Going Up, where you have to climb random props in the sky, and then if you fall, you have to climb back up. But
I believe I was watching you for like an hour and 40 minutes, or an hour and 45 minutes or something before we had to go to bed. So,
I also got a game called Feather Party, which, because Chained Together was like £3, like it was super cheap. I feel like with that these days, it's like, oh, there's this cool multiplayer game you might play for a few hours, and I'm like, it's £3. Why not? I'll just pick it up.
Yeah.
Because there was another one, Feather Party, which I saw someone playing on Twitch, and then I looked it up, and it's like basically a Mario Party style game, sort of like Fall Guys mini games, and I was like, well, that's £3. I'll pick it up. I'll play some mini games as a bird, I guess. It was pretty fun. I played online with random people. I kept getting kicked out of their lobby, and then I kept rejoining because they were the only lobby, and then eventually they let me play. And then
what? Okay.
Yeah.
They have a reason to kick you out?
I don't know. Maybe they were just trying to play with their friends, and then this random guy keeps joining. I'm like, well, you have an open lobby. I'm gonna keep coming back, you know.
Just
I also wrote down, help, I can't stop playing Balatro, because it's true. Every other minute of the day, I just... I load up I am still playing. I still cannot stop loading up Balatro and going, I'll play this for 30 minutes, and then 10 hours later, I'm still playing. But I looked at it the other day. Balatro is now in my top 20 games on Steam through playtime. And you may go only top 20. And it's like, to be in my top 20, you have to be over 100 hours. So, I've been playing a lot of Balatro this year. It's very fun still. And I'm still watching Samurai Champloo. It's still a good show, so I'm still watching that.
It's not. That's not a game. I've put this down as Joe's games. You always add Samurai Champloo.
Okay, well I've been watching Wimbledon. I just saw Emma Raducanu get knocked out. I've been watching the Euros. I've just seen England are going to go all the way to the finals and win.
That's like Wii Sports Tennis, right?
Yeah. Big time. It's exactly the same.
Right, okay, cool.
I've been watching Welcome to Wrexham, the documentary about the Welsh football club owned by Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. That's so weird.
Yeah.
It's still really expensive to own a football club.
Yeah, it's really fucking expensive to own a football club, it turns out. Yeah, especially if they're in like League One now, which is like
well, they originally when they bought it.
They were below national.
Okay.
Yeah, they were in the because they went from the league below to League 2, and then they're in League 1, and there's a big jump in terms of skill.
Yeah, I could imagine because
I would always call it. I would always call it the Coca-Cola Cup. Was always at the bottom, but the thing. Well, the thing is, it's they call it a different league based on like who sponsors it. So it was called the Coca-Cola Cup when I was younger, but it might be called like the Budweiser League or something like that.
The Iron Brew.
So they were in the National League, which is like basically almost not professional play. Like they've been in it. I don't know if Wrexham is the oldest football team in the world, I believe. Like still going.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
Okay. As a continuous like existence.
Yeah, they've been going for a very long. Oldest football club in the world. I'm fairly sure. You have to look. Getting a Wikipedia page of a bunch of information.
Don't go to Wikipedia.
I've already started looking at it. I'm in a wiki hole.
It's
telling me about all the different countries.
Okay.
Still by alphabetically.
Bringing it back to video games a second. Did I ask you about Katamari last time?
Okay, so apparently
is that not on air?
Wrexham is the 6th oldest football club in.
Still pretty old.
In the world.
Yeah.
It goes Sheffield, Cray Wanderers, Hallam, Notts County, Stoke City, Wrexham. Cool. So I just went off on a tangent about the English Football League.
Have I asked you about Katamari on the podcast before?
You asked me last week about it, yeah.
I did, yeah. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
So I can't ask about that one. Because I think I got all the answers I needed from that one.
You only have like 2 real choices here.
Yeah. I think we should just about Chain Together. I don't think we have another time to talk about it, right? So that was a good time.
Well, I'll probably talk about it on Tangerine. I'm going to talk about both of them in Tangerine. But Chain Together, I've got some footage. We'll do a Tangerine on this because I think there's enough to talk about with it. I have maybe we'll do it with Helldivers, do multiplayer games, because I think Helldivers 2 and Chain Together, they're starting to shape up for some of my favorite multiplayer games that I played this year, which is really cool.
Yeah.
But basically, you get a lobby, so you can play solo or you can play with other people, but the more people you play with, the harder it gets, because as you go on, you start to get chained to the next person. And I've heard that it's very hard to be in the middle because you get pulled by 2 people. Sometimes they do different directions. I was always hosting the lobby, so I'm always the first chain. So the chains work on whoever joins. And also another thing you can do so I could experience what it's like to be chained to multiple people, because it asks you if you want to have like just one chain with 2 ends, or you can even have an interconnected chain. So you can have a chain that's connected at the front and the back if you want to. And there's different modes.
Why would you do that?
So we're playing on beginner mode, and the way beginner mode works is if you fall down, you can teleport back up to your highest achieved point. So it's basically like an easy mode sort of thing, but playing it just casually co-op with some of my friends, that's the sort of mode, the way we were playing it. As we're playing here, Jesse immediately just goes AFK.
Okay, what did I expect?
And the way it works is you can run and you can jump, you can climb up onto stuff, and then your other ability is you can pull on the chain to pull somebody up. So if like one of you falls off, you can all like kind of balance yourself and sort of pull your teammate up. Or we even found stuff where we were like putting our chain onto like a log, and we were playing like Fling to the Finish, where we had like we were balanced across a beam and then just like sliding across it, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like
unintended solutions, but all solutions work.
Just playing like casually with friends has actually been really fun. I actually really like this game, and again, it's super cheap. I think it was like £3 or £4 to buy. Because initially I looked at it and it was one of those games where I looked at it and was like, this might just be like a rage bait game, and I might just not enjoy this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, not sure I'm going to play with this, but I convinced.
It's so cheap, you might as well try it.
Because I convinced one friend to play it, and I was like, I'll just play it with you, and then a couple of other friends were like, okay, we'll hop in now. As is the way with multiplayer games, you have to.
Yeah.
these days, like, just in general, I find that most times I want to hang out with my friends, I have to trick them into doing events. That's why I started the podcast so long ago.
Yeah. It's still a tradition to this day. I was gonna say, like, as a commentator, that's the right word. As a watcher, it's fun. I find a lot of games is like, oh, it's only like funny and fun.
Well, I saw this on Twitch first, and watching it on Twitch, I was like, oh, this looks pretty fun. And I think it's the co-op aspect as well makes it more interesting, because you have these games like Jump King and Going Up, and it's like, oh, you know, if I was just doing this over and over again by myself, it'd be very frustrating. But like. They're like subtle trolling, and like the camaraderie about it makes it like more appealing having your friends there.
I think as well the way you can recover is inherently funny as well.
Yeah,
I think like it's fun. I don't know if it's fun to do. You tell me, but it looks like a fun thing to do to like people fall over and it's like, oh, I didn't mean to, or just getting flung.
Well, there's a button to pull people up. I wish there was a button to push people. I want to push my teammate and then be like, oh wait, I'm chained to you, and then fall off.
Yeah, that'd be hilarious.
Yeah, it's
like
about
it could be like a kick.
But yeah, it's a really simple game, and it's pretty much just like a bunch of Unreal Engine assets.
2.7 kilometers up. Right?
Yeah. So it's just basically a bunch of what looks like Unreal Engine assets from the asset store, and you just jump on platforms. It's a really simple game, but it's pretty fun from what I've been playing. So I enjoy it. Yeah. I recommend you give it a go.
It knows what it is.
Yeah. Right. So it's games I've been playing. Let's talk about. Oh, I saw this and I was like, "What the fuck is this?" We have a Gundam Breaker 4 Pac-Man collaboration. I don't know what this is. You have Gundam.
How?
It's a Gundam game that isn't out, that they've already announced is going to have a Pac-Man collab where you seem to be killing teddy bears with jetpacks in a Pac-Man maze.
Okay.
I honestly don't know what's happening, and honestly, I don't want to. I honestly think it's funny if I don't know.
Okay.
Gundam's something I just have never looked. It's like
you're not a mech fan.
I'm not really a mech guy. No. Do you like Gundam stuff? Have you ever looked into the Gundam figures?
I actually owned like a cheap one. My dad brought it back from Japan once. Like he bought like a cheap one when he was there. So I actually owned one.
I'm a Pac-Man enjoyer. That's where I come at the angle from, you know.
Okay, so I'm a big fan of mech stuff. Gundam is my least favorite mech stuff. I'm not a big fan of mech stuff that's humanoid. Like I like it to be more realistic. Whereas obviously this is like just like kicking like a person. But I still like the aesthetic. I still think there's some coolness to it. So I don't know. It looks kind of cool.
Well, I think from just randomly reading comments, people say that the previous Gundam game wasn't that great, and that this game's not even out yet. What I thought was really funny was somebody said, "I want Pac-Man content revealed at the showcase." Monkey paw curls a finger like, "You will have." Yes, we have a new Pac-Man thing. It's a Gundam 4 crossover. That's not what I wanted.
Yeah.
But yeah. And then we have
cast
next trailer. Oh, this is quite a big one. Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster announcement trailer. So
you sent me this.
Yeah, because I was like, oh, we're getting a remaster of the Dead Rising game, which, if you don't know, is basically a time-based survival game where you have to spend 3 days in a mall waiting for a helicopter to come rescue you. And
that's where you take pictures, right? Like that's what you're
things you can do. So you can take, because you're a journalist. Frank West is a journalist, and you can get points like romance,
I forgot about that.
Horror.
It's just so stupid that it's great.
Kind of the point of the game is that, you know, you have such limited time, and you basically go around trying to save everyone. And as you realize playing through the game is that because you're on this clock, you can't save everyone, so you kind of have to make choices for who to save and that sort of stuff. And then, or you might just give up and just spend all your time making ridiculous weapons and just mowing through zombies.
Which is also fun by itself.
Yeah. But yeah, I looked at this.
Dead Rising 3 ruined.
It's Capcom, because the original game runs on a completely different engine to like the Resident Evil stuff. I think this is confirmed to be running on the RE engine, the engine that does the Resident Evil games and Monster Hunter as well, I believe.
Yeah, they put a lot of effort into make it, because it looks like the janky physics kind of looks right. Like they put a lot of effort into it.
That's very good.
What it should do.
So apparently it's coming out September 16th, and as well they've replaced the voice actor for Frank West. Yeah, so people were like, oh, maybe, they asked him to come back and he couldn't do it because of issues or like stuff like that. Apparently he wrote on Twitter, somebody asked him, he's like, oh, why are you not returning as Frank West in the Capcom remaster of Dead Rising? He said, oh, Capcom didn't ask me to. Like, they just simply didn't contact him, apparently. So, but people are saying TJ is Union, so Capcom may not want to use a Union voice. It seems that they try to avoid using Union voice actors in their games. So,
I mean, why would you want to have morals?
But yeah, the store page is up. Oh, it says the 19th September. Maybe there's like a day early access or something.
Interesting.
But yeah, I've played the Dead Rising games. I have played the first one, and I think the second one as well. And I remember the second one definitely got goofier than the
third one was
the first one. Realistic. And I think they just kind of kept going. Like I remember, like, is his name Chuck in the second? You just build stuff. You just get this cutscene with duct tape, and he's like, just like Mom used to make it, and you're just like duct tape chainsaws to like shopping trolleys and throw them at zombies. But it always. I think the first game was a more serious tone, but it was definitely still very wacky in like its characters and stuff like that.
I think it had like a juxtaposition between serious and wacky, which made it more funny.
Yeah. Did you ever touch the Dead Rising games at all?
I never owned it. Another one of the cases where like I went around a friend's house and played it, and I think it was always one. I don't think it was on two. I think it was one. I remember him. What was it? Wasn't that main character called again?
In two.
In one.
His name's Frank.
Frank. I remember seeing Frank. I don't remember what the second guy looks like, so I think I played the first one.
I think the second guy.
I remember being a bit disappointed when 3 came out. It's like more realistic.
I think there's a fourth one.
What?
Yeah, I think there's a fourth Dead Rising. Because I never kept up with them after. Yeah, the second guy's name was Chuck Green. I somehow remembered that. Let's have a look.
Memory.
Yeah.
They did a fourth one. I remember 3 and going, this is awful. I think it had like some other like DLC. So
there's Dead Rising 3 Apocalypse Edition. Because this, I don't know if it was in a mall. Was it more like open world? You could go outside and stuff like that. It was less contained.
I suppose.
And there was Dead Rising 4 that came out in 2017. And that was like, you could drive cars around and stuff like that. And people seem to hate this, so...
People didn't like 3 when it first came out, so...
The top positive review for Dead Rising 4 is great game to test out the refund button.
Fair enough.
But yeah, people just don't seem to like it. But yeah, the people seem to love the first game, and it seems to be getting a remaster, so that's good news.
Yeah.
So that's cool to see. Let's go on to announcements. We got 2 big factory announcements, because we've got the announcement that Factorio Space Age has an official release date of October 21st, 2024. If you don't remember, there was the space mod for Factorio that was hugely popular, very, very well made, and basically Factorio were like, oh, we'll work with this guy to make an official Factorio Space Age expansion that's going to come out. So,
which is really, I think a really cool way to do that.
This will be coming out October this year, and it will be $35, the same price as the current base game. So it's just cool to see. And then we had an announcement from Satisfactory, the 3D factory building game, that it will be going into 1.0 out of early access in September 10th, 2024.
Yeah. I would say as well, they're going to be raising the price soon, so you get it now while it's on in summer sale.
Yeah. Obviously, I own both of these games myself, but if you want to grab the game,
if you don't
now,
own, I think what the community manager was saying is like, in case if you're holding off on buying it like full release, like maybe buy it early before the price increases, because you're gonna have to pay full price otherwise.
Then we have cancellations. Super House of Dead Ninjas, Mega Coin Squad, Zenzinzik, and Traverser will be delisted on July 15th. This is due to the ongoing shutdown of Adult Swim games as part of Warner Brothers cutting tax shit. And
tax.
So it says here, because it says here, Adult Swim is no longer able to continue to publish for this game, and the developer is not available to take over as publisher at this time. As a result, Super House of Dead Ninjas will shut down July 15th, 2024. But with this post on Twitter, contrary to the wording in the announcement, the Super House of Dead Ninjas developers did try to get their game back, but got no reply. So apparently, the devs are actually active under a new name called Bitmap Bureau Limited, and they sold the IP to Adult Swim back in the day. So they were like, "Oh, we no longer want to keep working on this. We'll sell you the IP, and we go off and form another company." They found out it was being delisted, and they were like, "Oh, we still have love for the game. If you're not going to keep publishing it, we'd rather it not get forever delisted. Is there a way to purchase it back?" Because they said they'd be willing to buy the IP back from Adult Swim if that was an option. And they reached out a couple of times and they just didn't receive a reply. So
classic capitalism.
It seems like there is will from the Super House of Dead Ninjas guy to keep the game going, but if you do not have this game, you have about 8 days to purchase it if you no longer wish for it to be delisted. It's currently on sale for $1.39, which I believe 99p if you live in the UK. I already own this game, so I don't need to pick this one up. And I checked the other games, and I was like, I'm not that interested in these. It's a shame. Like, when it comes to delisted games, I think if you don't get them on their final sale, they go into abandonware territory where you're like, well, there's no legal way to own this other than, not paying extortionate like third-party key seller fees, which at that point you might as well get them from abandonware websites.
It's no worse other than your own security.
Speaking of games getting delisted, because unfortunately this is an issue that happens every single time a car game comes out. It turns out Forza Horizon 4 is getting delisted. This one was so surprising to me, given how big Microsoft is. And even like someone like Microsoft can't stop their games getting delisted because they have like Lamborghinis and Ferraris.
If they haven't got the right contract or the right licenses for it for perpetual as long as the game exists, then if it's just a little timed thing, then it'll run out.
This like feels really
just
odd,
fundamentally think they got the wrong license.
Given that like the start of this year, like Phil Spencer and people were saying like they want to form a special team inside Microsoft that is just about preserving video games. And then they're like, by the way, we're delisting Forza. You will not be able to purchase it anywhere anymore, even though it's a finished game that this shouldn't happen to.
Yeah. If you got the right licenses, you can make it. But with the way they did it, clearly that wasn't the case.
But so on December 15th, Forza 4 and all of its DLC will be delisted from digital platforms, the Microsoft Store and Steam. I do know that you can buy an Ultimate Edition now on Steam that has most of the DLC on it, but some of the DLC that the game had has already been delisted, so you can't purchase it.
Yeah, you can't get it by itself.
There's no way to purchase it.
I bought the Ultimate Edition. I'm a bit concerned because it doesn't actually say that you have the DLC, so I'm hoping it still shows up.
I believe they've made it so if you... What did they do? They made it so if you purchased any of the DLC on the Microsoft Store version, they were just giving you all of the DLC. I think if you played it through Game Pass and bought DLC, then maybe they were giving you a copy. I'd have to double check on that.
Yeah, I don't know if through Steam
Yeah,
they're
so
doing it, but
if you
I
play
don't know.
Forza
I could
Horizon
check.
4 through Xbox Game Pass and purchase DLC content for it, don't worry. By having an active, full paid, not discounted Xbox Game Pass subscription on the 25th of the 6th, you will be eligible to receive a game token if you've purchased any extra content.
Okay. I just double checked Steam. It is now listing all the DLCs that are no longer available for me in my library, which I did not own before.
Okay.
So that does work. Just buy Ultimate Edition.
Also, all right. Because I look at this game and I'm like, oh, because this one's set in the UK as well. This is like a pretty interesting
Yeah,
game.
I really like this one. It has 4 seasons, and I'm a big fan of like changing seasons. I think it's really
Doesn't
cool.
this game also have a Lego DLC as well?
Yes, this is the one with I think 5 has Hot Wheels and 4 has, is it more? Is it, I can't remember which round it was. One has Lego, one has Hot Wheels. Actually, I can probably tell you easier than you can, right? Hold on.
I can't see DLC, so
Yeah. The problem is it doesn't list it very easily. Like you can't. It doesn't say what it is on the thumbnail.
On the Steam store page, you can't see the DLC. So.
Yes, it's a Lego Speed Champions for Forza
See, when it comes to
4.
delisted games, I'm in two minds. It's like, do I want to play this game at some point? Yeah, but
for you owning it yourself, you mean, not
what?
In terms of archiving. Well, in terms of archiving,
I think this game should always be available for everybody. Yeah, I'm thinking in terms of myself. I do kind of want to play this game at some point, but I don't want to buy an Ultimate Edition of a game just out of FOMO that I won't be able to play it at some point and add it to my library.
You could play on my version, like the Steam family thing, I guess.
I don't know if that works. I don't know if you can family share like delisted games. Well, is that possible? Actually,
either way,
no idea.
One of the way you could do it is just, I guess, you could sign in, but I guess it'll also have its own
this. Can you
way,
family share delisted games? Unless the game is exempt from sharing, it would work fine even if delisted from the store, because it has family sharing listed on the store page. So maybe.
Maybe if that didn't work, because I could still, like, I don't know, like put it on the Steam Deck and like play on my Steam Deck technically.
Yeah, true.
Obviously, not the same fidelity, obviously, but
I mean, if I really wanted to play it now, I could just play it on Game Pass. So
yeah.
It sucks that the game's getting delisted, because I did want to play it at some point, but I just don't want to play it or purchase it right now. So
there were lots of people saying that that there shouldn't ever be a racing game in England, but I disagree. I like the season stuff. Mexico is also a great place.
Since they've announced it's being delisted, it's had like a huge spike in players. Like,
yes,
we have 20k playing right now, 54k peak today. Like, a lot of people are going back and going, "Oh, this is a really good game," and it's such a fucking shame that people are not going to be able to play it in the future. At least, not through legal means.
Curse of driving games at the moment.
Yeah, it's almost as if there should be some sort of way to get perpetual licenses to keep that license for that game, or maybe we just need more Lepin cars. We need the Lepin DLC, and
we just only. Well, I think Lego would have to design their own cars, because Lego actually licenses cars. Like the Speed Champion stuff are licensed cars they've recreated.
Well, like with the way GTA did it, was they would just do like knockoff names of cars.
Yes.
But then even GTA got in trouble because they licensed music for the radio, and then they had to basically delist it and change it all.
Yeah.
So even they're not immune to getting delisted.
I will say, ideally, you'd have perpetual rights, but sometimes people who own the rights to something are not willing to do perpetual licenses because they don't understand what it means. It doesn't mean they'll have the actual ownership. It's just like, for this product, it will always be available for this product. Like, that's how you would write it. I don't know the legal circumstance of that. I don't know if it changes across the world, but I know of something known as perpetual licenses.
Well, I think
it makes a lot of sense what I understand of it.
When it comes to digital versus physical media, there exists physical media versions of Forza Horizon 4, and people are saying
idea.
If you buy this on a disc, you can actually usually get it cheaper than what it's on sale for on Steam right now. But If we get to like a new console generation, or console generations are gone, and we don't have any physical media anymore, we might get to a point where the games only exist online, and there's no actual way to purchase it outside of it being gone from the online system, and the only way to get it would be through piracy, through preservation.
Yeah, we might be that problem for like movies soon as well. They just won't release it as like physical media. Like I'm genuinely concerned of what's going to happen to entertain.
Well, it's hard enough to get film companies to make Blu-ray releases of a lot of stuff.
Yes, yes, it's crazy.
It's like a lot of the time I'll be like, oh, I want to watch this TV show, and then I'm like, oh, it was on this streaming service, but now it's on this stream. Yeah. Oh, and now it's gone.
TV shows are worse than films for physical copies. Yeah.
It just turns out you don't actually own a lot of the stuff you own. It's just that you have a perpetual license.
Right. You don't own anything, and piracy is perfectly valid.
Yeah, and this is why piracy is completely justified. That's what Lewis Rossman would say.
And don't buy an LG TV.
Do not buy an LG TV. Do not buy a Roku TV. This is why piracy is completely justified.
I do find his commitment hilarious, but also it's too true. It's too sad.
Let's move on to releases. Not a lot of releases this week. There was that First Descendant game, which looked like Destiny 2 and Warhammer, but like a Asian knockoff of it. And I was like, I don't care about this. I'm not interested in those games. Next big one was Final Fantasy XIV Dawn Trail, the next big expansion for the MMO, not that MMO of Final Fantasy. Do you know there's 2 MMOs of Final Fantasy? I think Final Fantasy X is it MMO, and then Final Fantasy XIV is an MMO as well, and 14 is the much more popular one.
Yes.
But yeah. Apparently, Yoshida P made a apology for this because of some of the issues at launch on this.
I think it's 11, because isn't Final Fantasy X? I think it's 11.
Oh, okay, maybe it's 11. That's the other MMO.
I think it's X and X2, which I don't think I think it's 11.
Okay. But yeah, apparently. Let's have a look. TLDR, everything is, but the story is good to great, but the story drags it down hard. Battle content A++, dungeons are great, zone design A-, music A-, plot narrative scenes. People are not liking the major themes and the story of this. Pacing, it's not great. But I know there was issues because Yoshi P put out an apology. Apparently the Xbox version was like completely like unresponsive when it launched. And
really? I'm surprised they didn't check that.
Yeah, because they just launched Final Fantasy XIV on the Xbox. Because that's the thing for the longest time. It's like my friend was like, "Oh, I play Final Fantasy XIV." I was like, "Oh, on the PC." He's like, "No, I played it on the PS4." Like it was available on the PS4 for the longest time, and it's become more popular on like PC later, I think. And
if you own it on PS4, do you have to get it again on PC?
Yeah, he had to. I think he had to buy it again, but I don't know if he was able to carry his account across. I'd have to ask him. But yeah, apparently there was some older content fights which were broken with the new expansion. They broke some of the older game, but apparently this has been fixed now, from what I've read. Which is good to see. But people have got mixed views on it.
Strange that happened in the first place.
Yeah, that came out on the 2nd of July. And then we had Power Wash Simulator DLC. We had Alice Adventures in Wonderland. And I always like to check out the Power Wash Simulator DLC because I think the Warhammer one people weren't very happy with because they were like, it was too many vehicles.
Yeah, I would want to like clean like a temple interior, not a vehicle. But
this came out on the 2nd of July, and I don't own any of the Power Wash Simulator DLCs, and I'm always like, they're so expensive. They never go on sale. They're like £6.50, so and they never go on sale.
How many maps do you get?
I think it's like 5, maybe.
For $6.50?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You get 5 things to clean. It seems like these are mostly maps. You get an entrance hall, the White Rabbit's house, Caterpillar Mushroom, Mad Tea Party, and Queen of Hearts Court. That's what you get for your £6. Right. But people seem to like it. One of the better DLCs. Yeah. Colors are bright and they pop.
It looks interesting.
New outfit, gloves, and washer skins, all Alice themed. Should also note you can access the Trident in this DLC, and yes, added achievements, none of which are difficult to acquire. Oh, cool. I think the Trident is referring to the triple nozzle on the power washer, which I don't agree with, I think if you're a true power washer... I feel like it makes jobs too easy when you have the triple nozzle, because you just get 3 beams, and I'm honestly somebody who just started trolling my friend by cleaning as slowly as possible, and I was having so much more fun. I was like, there's actually something about just cleaning because I was doing like the Tomb Raider and the Final Fantasy stuff, because those are the free updates they added, and I was just like, I'm gonna see how slowly I can clean this sandbox while they clean the rest of the map. And it took I got a lot of content out of that sandbox, let me tell you.
Okay. I mean, each their own, I suppose. I don't think I could do that.
So on to quick news. Sega said the new Crazy Taxi title will be an open world, massively multiplayer AAA game, according to Sega. So I don't think this is what most people wanted to hit. I would love a Crazy Taxi game. Okay. But hearing that it's going to be an open world MMO style game makes me very worried about a new Crazy Taxi game.
Yeah. Again, curse of the car games.
Because we know they're working on a new Jet Set Radio game, a new Crazy Taxi game. There was a bunch of like fighting game stuff they showed off, right? But yeah, it's just the wording of this makes me go, are they looking more towards like a live service thing? And that makes me a bit worried. It could be. Look, I like multiplayer open world. Like, I love Burnout Paradise City. I think that's a fantastic game. And that's like a...
Yeah, but if it was multiplayer...
Open world multiplayer. It is multiplayer. It's a multiplayer game.
But is it... It's not like a massive, like, one lobby sort of multiplayer, though. It's not servers.
You can like quickly load up to I think you can drive around with other people, and then you can like quickly load into races against other people. Or it has like a heavy leaderboard system where you'll just be riding along the street, and then it'll go like, oh, your friend went along this road in like 50 seconds. Can you do it quicker? And you'll just like start naturally trying to get to race against other people and your friends.
I would consider that a more normal like single player with multiplayer experience though. That's a little bit different than what this is. Well, basically by the wording, what they're suggesting.
Yeah. Let's move on to Steam news. Oh, the game recording beta came out. So Tony,
you tried it?
No, I have not tried it at all. But because I don't actually. Outside of my Steam Deck, I don't actually need game recording because I use OBS. I know a lot of my friends, they'll use programs like Clipshare or something like that, and they'll have this constant recording thing of like, oh, I did a really cool play, let me clip that, and then I've got it saved, right? I'm somebody who's like, I just don't care. Like, I do something cool. I don't really need a clip of it. I don't really care that much. But what's cool for me is when it comes to decky features, I like to record stuff on my Steam Deck because I play games on my Steam Deck and I want footage for it for the podcast and stuff, and to show you what it runs like on the Steam Deck. And I was using a third-party decky plugin loader called Decky Recorder, and it was great apart from the times it would just crash 50% of the time. And as we know from Valve, what they do is they go, oh, here's a cool thing from the community someone's made for the Steam Deck. Let's just turn this into a native Steam feature. And yeah, it's confirmed that you can get this on your Steam Deck as well. So Tony, it is Steam Deck verified. So you'll be able to... Well, based on what I understand about the Steam Deck verified system, this means nothing. But
Well, I was going to say, in terms of Valve features, it means that for the first 3 years they'll update it, and they maybe might forget it after that, depending how popular it is, or how they feel about it.
But yeah, basically what they've done is they made it so you can set how long you want to record. Like, so there's 2 ways to record. There's record in the background, where you go, I want you to record this much footage
in a buffer sort of thing.
In a buffer at this quality, and then it'll go, okay, this will consume this much disk space constantly spinning in your system, which I know people are a little bit worried about when it comes to SSDs because they're different from hard drives where constantly overwriting data on an SSD will affect the wear and tear quicker on a solid state drive compared to a hard drive.
If you're manually for the SSD, if you're manually like telling it to like go to a specific part on the SSD, it will degrade that quicker because what it wants to do is like wear it like over the whole thing, like it would like level wear it like across like every single chip. So I don't know. Yeah, is it letting the SSD chip decide where it goes? I don't know.
Oh, but yeah, so you can do it like that. I have seen the 2 clips Philip video on this where he was testing this out. He said there wasn't too much difference in like size between the low quality and the high quality, and he was saying the high quality was a lot better. So he'd recommend just use the high quality. Right. The video quality seemed pretty good. I don't know if Steam is going to use. I don't think they will use AV1 because it's a proprietary codec, and this seems to be designed to be run on stuff like the Steam Deck, which doesn't have an AV1 encoder on it, I believe.
It'd be nice to have an option, though.
Yeah, because that's the big benefit of using, like, the reason I use OBS is because it has, you have access to AV1 encoding files. So I can record in 4K on demand at AV1 and I save tons of disk space. And also I have access to features like pausing, so I can pause recordings if I need to, which is quite useful. And then you have stuff like NVIDIA, which is proprietary NVIDIA stuff, but with Shadowplay, which you can also use to record in the background, that now has access to AV1 recording and also has access to 120 FPS recording, which is something that I don't think any other program really lets you do. Because I believe this doesn't let you do 120 FPS recording, from what I can see. Not that you could do anything with 120 FPS recordings other than look at it on your computer, because no platform on the internet supports 120. Like, I'd love to see 120 FPS support for stuff like YouTube and Twitch, but it just doesn't exist.
The big files, though. But the joke was that we can make your own like private cinema to show your clips to 120 FPS.
But what I would be using this for is basically a recording on demand. So I'd load it up. I'd load up a game on my Steam Deck, and then I would record on demand. Record as much footage as I wanted, and then the way you share this is you have a bunch of different options. So you can, I think it saves it. When it saves it as a Steam file, like their own proprietary format. But you can easily export it as an MP4. They store all clips in an optimized Steam timeline format for snappier, smoother replays. But you can export it as an MP4 to upload it somewhere else. Because in that format, you can just natively upload that into like a chat window and share it there. Because one thing they do, or basically what I'm assuming I would be doing is you can also do a QR code. I feel like sending it to my phone or sending it as a QR code is probably the easiest way to get it off the Steam Deck. Because otherwise, an MP4 file, I would have to dock it and put it onto a hard drive. I'm wondering if it's send a clip to another device, exe from your Steam Deck to your desktop PC. Okay, so I can send the clip straight from the Steam Deck to my PC. So that's going to be really useful. Yeah, so that's going to make it a lot easier to record stuff on the deck. I think they said it shouldn't have any noticeable performance. So they said it minimizes CPU usage of video encoding by using dedicated video encoding hardware of your AMD or NVIDIA GPUs. I have not seen any testing on Steam Deck. I remember I had issues when I was using Decky Recorder while having like a very low wattage game of Celeste going on a plane and it crashing. I'd be interested to see like the performance change on a Steam Deck, and especially if you are manually tuning your wattage down for battery life on a Steam Deck, how recording affects that. But the thing with me is on my Steam Deck I run stable, so I don't have access to this. Like I have access to this on my PC.
I run beta on PC.
I have beta on PC because it's not that much of an issue. But the problem is my Steam Deck is I just want it to work when I'm out and about, or if I plug it into a dock to play party games, I don't want to be troubleshooting a bunch of bugs that can be caused by being on a beta driver. So I just want to leave it on the stable branch for my Steam Deck, so I don't have access to this on my Steam Deck. But I would like to test it once this comes to stable, because it seems quite cool. So when you have it in this format of Steam, they have an API where, so for like Dota 2 or CS, I was going to say CSGO, CS2, they have this system where you can it has automatic markers. So when you kill a hero in Dota or you die, it'll set a marker to say this happened at this point, so you can quickly scrub through the footage and go, this happened here, which should be quite useful. And then, of course, they have API support for developers they've given out to go, hey, if you want to set this up to use it on your own games, we have a SDK and API for game developers to set this up themselves. And as well, you can manually set your own markers as like highlights. You can go, oh, I killed somebody in this game, click a button, and that'll set a marker on the timeline. So when you go and look at the footage later, then it will be
this
able
is
to
an interesting point
set
to
it
know.
up.
Yeah, that's useful. That seems quite nice, all the features.
So you can access in and out of game, edit, share, and manage your games using your complete redesigned recordings and screenshot interface. Works with any game that includes non-Steam titles, as long as the game uses the Steam overlay to run. So if I'm running an Amazon Games game through game mode, it should, because this is it. I'm running a non-Steam game on my Steam Deck, and I have the Steam overlay for stuff like X input and running through game mode. I should be able to just record any game on my Steam Deck with this, which is quite cool, as long as you're running it through Steam. Which is another thing of why I wouldn't use this on my PC, because I record a lot of Game Pass stuff, and running Game Pass stuff through Steam can be quite tricky sometimes, especially because you need it to interact with the Steam overlay. Which is another reason I wouldn't use this over like something like OBS, personally. Customizable district. So record your games, not your desktop. Select which audio channels are included. Footage is captured directly to your hard drive, and you choose what to share. So I'm guessing you can choose to record your microphone or not record your microphone. Nice that it says record your game. So I'm guessing this will be like the audio capture option in like the OBS beta, or Action has this, or Discord has this, where you can capture just the audio of the game and not the desktop audio, so you can share the game's audio with your friends, but not like your Discord feedback sort of thing, which is very useful, and more in the works. So you do need to be in the Steam beta update, and let's have a look at the other FAQs. When enabled, Steam will record your game footage of your games played through the Steam client. It will not capture video of your desktop or other programs. You can choose to include the audio from other programs, such as voice chat programs, when recording and sharing. Please be respectful of others and abide by the Steam subscriber agreement and the Steam online conduct rules. Steam recording is designed to be the goal of taking as little compute resources of the game you are playing as possible. It takes advantage of NVIDIA and AMD graphics cards to remove most of the performance costs of creating recordings. When run on systems without these graphics cards, the system's CPU is used to create video recording, which causes a notable performance impact on these systems. They don't say anything about Intel.
Cards, though? What the hell?
But from what I understand is that most, because I think this is in the 2 Clicks Philip video, most GPUs these days, like your NVIDIA or AMD GPU, will have a separate media block on it that doesn't affect your performance. So this is where you'll run stuff like your NVENC or whatever AMD's equivalent of NVENC is called. I don't know. But basically, there'll be a dedicated media block on your GPU that will not affect your actual rendering of game performance, and it should be negligible. The reason it used to be a lot more performance back in the day when you had fraps was because that would just run straight off your CPU, so it would just use a bunch of your CPU resources. But like right now, as I'm recording this on OBS is using 0.2% of my CPU right now. So it's like, it's really not going to be noticeable at all in terms of like recording.
Could be engine normally like does like video playback and stuff, right? In like normal usage, right?
So game recordings and times are shown in the in-game overlay and recordings and screenshots folder from the Steam desktop client. View recording the screenshots from the Steam Deck, select the Media tab from the main menu. You'll find the same content and capabilities in both. You can choose whether the recordings are stored on your hard drive. Steam is capturing both the video and the timeline in RAW format. So if you'd like the video format MP4 of your gameplay, then you need to create a clip and export it. What were you going to say, Tony?
No, I was just gonna ask. I just realized that how long does it take for these betas to become stable, like the normal time frame, or is it just random?
I think
like Valve time.
Valve time. I think it's just a
Okay.
random amount of time. I mean, I think the family sharing thing is still in beta at the moment because I think they're doing 2 betas based on their screenshot. We still have a Steam Families beta because I think that's not unstable yet. So
right. Okay.
Yeah. Game recording works on any game that supports the Steam overlay. It may not work for some older games. Games may choose to support event markers. The following games have implemented time-like markers: Dota 2 and Counter-Strike 2. Once again, Valve forgets about TF2. Classic. Classic. Did you see that the whole like save TF2 stuff recently, where people were because there's a huge like botting crisis going on in TF2 again, and people have gone so far recently to say like we're going to stop purchasing crates in TF2 and like stop spending money on the game and try and like squeeze pressure into Valve. And I'm just like, Valve just they don't give a shit. They don't care.
I don't think they can. No.
Last time that one of the 2 people that works on TF2 made a post on like Twitter and said, "We hear you, TF2 fans. We will do something," and then they didn't say anything else. They got one guy. They contracted out one guy to silently fix a bunch of bugs in TF2, which he's been doing good work, and they did ban a bunch of bots randomly, and then I don't think they followed up on it. But like,
well, I think you need like it sounds like it's some problem. They need someone to like look into, like perpetually looking into how bots are bypassing the system, and like keep looking into it. You need like again, I think just have like contract out a company that like does this thing for you, so it doesn't have to like use the flat working or the flat, what's they call it, the flat employment method or
flat structure.
That's it.
Flat employment structure. So there's no boss at Valve.
Yeah.
There's no one.
They do whatever they want to do.
There's no managers in quotation marks.
But
that
to
doesn't
keep
work like that.
services going, you need people to like contract to work on it. And so I think it makes sense. Fine, Valve can't do that, but if it's like a subsidiary of Valve could do that instead, that would be much better.
So what are your thoughts on the game recording beta? Are you going to use this at all, or?
I might do like I want to like capture someone really quick. I think I want to see how easy it is to use. Like,
would you set it up to constantly record in the background?
No, that's not my thing. I don't need to save clips and go. That's a lot of space, and I'm also concerned. I'm actually also concerned about the SSD. I wonder how that actually is using that. I don't know.
Another question. So, would you be more likely to use this on your computer or your Steam Deck? Would you record some stuff on your Steam Deck and be like, "Oh, I've been playing Street Fighter 6 this week"?
Yeah. I don't think this makes any sense for me to record it on the computer. I think I have other stuff. I have OBS installed. I don't think
you have NVIDIA drivers, I guess, so you have access to NVIDIA Shadow Play. If you want.
I never use Shadow Play either, so. No, I think again. So I'm probably thinking of this like recording stuff off the Steam Deck. I think this seems quite useful. Like just like a really easy thing to implement. Everything like at least what I'm using is like everything through Steam anyway.
Again, previously I was using a third-party thing that was a bit buggy. So hopefully this is just a better version of what I was doing before.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping it's stable. I'm hoping it's like simple and stable.
I do have a capture card, so I could technically plug my Steam Deck dock into my capture card and record that way, but that's not really the ergonomic way to play on a Steam Deck. So, and we'll move on to the next Steam news, which is sort of a strange one because people have been asking for a Steam controller for the longest time, and Valve is licensing out a Steam controller design, or like they're allowing a third-party Steam controller to be made by a Japanese company only for the Japanese market, which is like, okay, that's kind of random. Because people have been asking for a Steam controller for the longest time based on the Steam controller that came out that Valve made that was fringely popular, I would say. It was like, what's the word?
a cult classic.
They had a cult following for the Steam controller. It definitely didn't like. I mean, me and you both own Steam controllers, and we own them because they started giving them away extremely cheaply. They were essentially giving them away, and I was like, well, okay, I'll grab a Steam controller. Like the shipping costs more than the actual controller at that point. My go-to controller is still the Xbox Elite controller. I have to say, I have in front of me
fair enough.
Because I have the dock. I have a DualSense in front of me. I have an Xbox controller, the Elite controller, and I have a Switch Joy-Con in front of me. And I'm always going for the Xbox controller. It's still just my controller of choice.
That's what you like, yeah. I like the DualSense.
I love the D-pad on the DualSense. I think the haptics and the adaptive trigger stuff's cool. But they don't work wirelessly. I can only get Bluetooth connectivity, and the battery lasts for about 4 hours. So I'm constantly, I wish Sony would make like they would make a driver for PC that it just has like one of the Xbox style USB dongles that I could plug in. I could connect via USB wireless, and it would allow me to use adaptive triggers and the feedback through wireless, and release one with a bigger battery, because people have modded their DualSense controllers with bigger batteries and they function great just with a bigger battery. So
but it's
not
like a power draw issue as well, is it? Just like, I'm just wondering if they've not like tamed the current usage.
You know what my conspiracy theory is that the DualSense controller has like loads of LEDs, and almost all the Xbox controllers don't have any LEDs. I can actually edit the LEDs through Steam X input, and I always just turn the brightness way down in order to try and save battery.
Turn them off. I thought people tried turning them off and like using like Steam settings for the DualSense, and it didn't save them that much battery.
What I did was, because I have two identical DualSense controllers, is I made one red and I made one blue, so I could tell them apart when I was connecting the controllers.
I like the colors, and I don't think it makes much of a difference in the grand scheme of things. LEDs do not take that much power. That's the thing.
Just you know me when it comes to RGB. I always just turn that shit off. Yeah, like I'm not a fan.
You like dark mode.
I've had headphones with RGB on them before, and I'm like, I don't want to waste the battery. I'm turning that shit off. That makes no sense. I mean, I was like, they were like the Logitech G930 or something, or G950 or something, and they would have LEDs on the back of the headphones. It's like, so you're giving LEDs to the person who might be sat behind you? I'm like, what the fuck is this for? Like, it makes no sense. But anyway,
I'm like pro LEDs and like pro RGB, and that makes no sense. So,
but. Oh, another thing. If I need gyro, I pull out the DualSense controller. I'm not somebody... So,
the gyro not very good on the Xbox.
Gyro doesn't exist on Xbox controllers. There's no gyro on Xbox. You didn't know that?
No.
I literally...
I thought I 360 didn't. But...
No Xbox controller has gyro in it. It's like one of the biggest missing features. I bought a DualSense controller to emulate games because they have gyro. So you cannot do gyro with Xbox controllers.
Okay. That's correct.
Like my dream controller would be a mix mash of a bunch of different controllers.
Yeah.
This is why people have been asking for like a Steam controller, because... So let's go into the Hori controller. So the Hori controller has gyro. But only available in Steam mode, quotation marks. It has 4 additional buttons, so it has 2 on the front and 2 on the back. So it has, 2 reverse buttons, sort of like the Steam Deck paddles.
Oh, I see.
It's not made by Valve again. This is licensed by a third-party company. It has turbo rapid fire mode for buttons on the face, which... Have you ever... done like turbo rapid it like presses them like really quickly sort of thing? I feel like turbo rapid fire is almost like cheating on controllers.
Yeah, surely that's cheating.
I don't know. It has capacitive sticks. I don't know if you know about capacitive sticks, but you have them on the Steam Deck. It's where
how does it?
You know when you have your finger on the joystick, and then you start to move the gyro around. Basically, it can only do it when it senses your hand on the stick. That's how capacitive sticks work. So when
So
you
if I
have
let go, it stop
yeah,
gyroing.
you can set it up
Okay.
so if you let go of the joystick, it won't use gyro to turn you around. But then when you have your finger on it, it's capacitive, so you can set the gyro to go again. That's how capacitive stick. I like capacitive sticks. I mean, I think the Steam Deck is one of the only controllers with capacitive sticks, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if the DualSense has them. I'll be honest with you. I don't play flick stick or gyro in terms of like if I'm grabbing a gyro controller, if I need to aim, I'll use a mouse and keyboard. But for stuff like emulating like Wii games or Switch games and stuff, I will use like the gyro for waggle-tastic stuff. Then we have custom button mapping via app, or there's a Steam mode or X input that you can use. There is a Steam and a Quam button. I don't know if you know, but the Quam button is what those 3 dots are called, I believe. That's the Quam. It's on your Steam Deck. You have a Quam button on your Steam Deck.
I'm just gonna say it's a 3-dot button, but
it's it stands for Quick Access Menu. So
I'm not calling it Quam though.
I think one of my biggest complaints again, it is you can wire it via USB-C, which is nice, but wireless via Bluetooth. There is no USB 2.4 gigahertz connection, which I much prefer when it comes to controllers.
Yeah, I think it's good to have Bluetooth. Like, I think Bluetooth is fine, but I think having an option for like
Tony, if you
wireless is really good.
Xbox controllers, at least the Elite controllers, have both. So you can do both on them.
That's the optimal way to do it. Like, I think just having a fallback, for whatever reason, like for latency or whatever. I like it for just convenience, but for latency, you want the dongle sort of solution.
Yeah. There's no rumble in the controllers. I know Steam always had trouble with the patents of getting rumble in their controllers. They've been in huge legal battles.
There's some really dumb patents out there. So,
and also there's no headphone jack. So if you want to connect a headset to this, like, I know some people. Because I'm looking at now, the Xbox and the DualSense both have headphone jacks on them for the console.
That's how the consoles deal with it. So you don't have to have, like,
I used to have one of those like Xbox 360 headsets that I would hook up and I would plug into my controller and use it while I was on my Xbox 360. I did use those back in the day. And then it's going to cost 7,980 yen, which is about $50 US with the current exchange rates only. But it's only for the Japanese market right now. So, because I saw a lot of people being like, "Oh, I wanted this feature, and I'm like, unless you're planning a trip to Japan, you're not going to be able to buy one of these. People on Reddit, because these are only available in Japan. So.
I do wonder what niche they're fulfilling, like what market they're trying to go for. That's why I'm curious about.
Well, I think the biggest thing people were saying was because it has gyro, it has the capacitive sticks, but a lot of people were saying they wanted the big trackpads that the Steam Deck had as a controller. I think there's no trackpads on this, which is another thing that this would be missing. Like that's again, we're talking about controllers. The DualSense does have a big trackpad on it, which is nice if you need to emulate mouse input. If you want to like control your Steam Deck from bed or something like that.
Well, on PlayStation 5,
or like a big screen,
do, like input keyboard stuff, like the type in characters. So it's actually pretty good. I
do like, because I have used the Steam controller a lot before, and I've used the Steam Deck a lot now. I do genuinely like typing things in with the dual trackpads. I do find that a lot.
I wish I could do that. That's not how my brain works. I like using the touchscreen on my Steam Deck. So.
Hopefully, I'm seeing this. I think hopefully this means that Valve is gearing up to make their own official Steam controller that they're going to develop. We'll have to wait and see.
Or even if like more people license and do their own take, that'd be cool. Nice. Like in the West, that'd be nice.
I don't believe they're using Hall effects. I could be wrong.
The Hall effects are not common in like mass produced.
But I don't know because this is all in Japanese. So
yeah,
I
wouldn't expect it. I think it's very rare to see that, and it's like enthusiast stuff they add it normally. Especially for that price, I wouldn't expect it either.
So look. I don't think it has Hall effect. I could be wrong. But neither does the Steam Deck, to be fair. So
No.
And Valve literally said, we're still not sure about the reliability of Hall effect, so they decided not to put them in the Steam Deck OLED.
Yeah, I don't really understand them because I've seen a lot of people like I think it's Gilly that do the for the original.
The Gilly kit, allow you to make a mod for it.
I've not seen anyone talk negatively about that. I don't know what that's coming from, but I guess they're in their own they had samples.
They've done. I'm sure that all the engineers over at Valve, they've done a lot of research into Hall effect, and they're just not sure. Manufacturing reliability of that at the moment. They're spinning up their own process.
I wonder if it's more of an integration thing than a usability thing. That's what I would assume.
Well, from what we've seen, it seems like the screen they're using for the Steam Deck OLED could just be the Steam Deck OLED screen, but repurposed sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like a similar manufactured screen.
I would assume it's from like a similar cut sort of thing, at the very least, even if it's not exactly the same. Yeah.
So let's wait and see. But so what do you think of this? Let's say, for example, Tony, they said this is coming out, but it's coming out to the European market as well. Would you would buy one of these?
I don't. Okay, I like symmetrical sticks. I'm not an Xbox.
It's an Xbox. It's an Xbox. Fan. It's definitely an Xbox layout. But it's also a Steam Deck layout because Steam Deck has. Steam Deck have horizontal. I don't have my Steam Deck in front of me, and I'm like, wait a minute.
Well, I can double check, but it's symmetrical.
It is, isn't it? I'm just thinking because you have the two trackpads below it. So sometimes what I will do is I'll have one finger on the joystick and then my right finger on the trackpad below it, so it's not symmetrical.
I will say, if you actually look at the Steam Deck, it's actually very weird. Like you couldn't combine it to a controller. Like it has like the buttons are directly next to the stick. Like it's not at all like any controller.
Obviously, they've had to make accommodations for it being a handheld with a giant screen in the middle. So there's
what though? I think if you did it correctly, you could get a controller that made that work. Because look at that, my thumb can easily get to both. So, but no, it's not my okay. But I think it's still okay. I wouldn't buy this particular one, the Japanese one,
the horror one.
Yeah, but I think it's cool to see.
I would think about it. If I didn't have two DualSense controllers because they're on sale, because this is going to cost about $50, which would make it roughly about how much I bought my DualSense for because it was on sale because they were getting rid of a bunch of stock. But I think
So how do you think the battery life will be? We don't know anything about that yet.
If it had really good battery life and I needed another gyro controller, I would consider it.
Might be able to go.
But I only bought a gyro controller to emulate stuff, and I have a gyro controller now. So
yeah, and the plastic. At least some of the pictures we've seen of the plastics that they're using for the
looks good. I like the colors.
Yeah. I think more competition is good.
I like this this purple one as well. I think it looks really cool.
Yeah, that's like Nintendo 64 purple. Or
GameCube purple.
That's what I'm thinking of. Sorry.
Yeah, you can get. You could get purple Nintendo 64s for sure.
I'm thinking of GameCube though, aren't I?
Yeah, GameCube was pretty much only purple, but you could definitely get grape purple Nintendo 64s. I think is that what the color's called? Grape purple. Because I always confuse it with atomic purple, and atomic purple is the see-through one, which like the old Game Boy. I had an atomic purple Game Boy.
That's really cool as well, yeah.
Which was the purple clear case one, like this one.
I think it's better than the pure clear one. Because I think it I think that having a color to it just makes it nicer.
Yeah.
I don't really like the glitter. I kind of like hiding the electronics, to be honest with you. But I know a lot of people like the translucent cases. And I think if I was to choose one, it would be like the purple translucent one.
Yeah, I'm two ways about. I just remember as a kid when I got a controller that was translucent, it was always the third party one, and so my brain goes translucent equals shit because they were always the ones that broke.
Yes. Even if I try and forget about that, I still think aesthetically I don't like translucent that much.
I kind of prefer like the solid color ones. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah. It also depends the electronics underneath. Like, does it actually look good being exposed? Because I think that makes a huge difference. Like I think modern laptops, like if those were transparent, that would look great. Like laptops these days look really good, like just like the innards of them. So I could see that, but even then you don't look at the bottom of a laptop that often. So I think a phone could make sense if you have transparent or translucent bottom.
You'd go around your friend's house and he'd hand you this, and you'd be like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Yeah, well, I broke my main controller, and this is the replacement. And you go, "This sucks."
This might be a good controller. I'm just picking a random third-party controller out.
It doesn't look good.
Honestly, like, because I picked up PS2 because that was. I mean, the PS2 is like my most played console of all time, but this one looks sick. Look at this. This translation PS2 one looks really cool. Yeah, I would like something like this, because the thing is, it's like just a clear circuit board there. Yeah.
If it was dark see-through, I would go for that. I don't like it pure see-through or pure white see-through or translucent. I think it was darkened to make it look like it's like they took a normal controller and made it more transparent. That'd be kind of
Tony, there's like half an hour of talking about a controller we will never have.
Yeah.
So. But hopefully,
I think it's nice to think about controllers, though.
Yeah, I'm always thinking about
controllers. I own
a bunch of controllers, and I have issues with all of them in some way.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's nice to think about this and talk about it, so other companies might. I know, like, other companies might watch our video.
the Elite Series 2 is the one I have the least issues with. The only problem is it doesn't have gyro mostly.
Yeah. My problem with it is the layout's wrong. That's like I don't really care about the gyro.
I went from PS2 to Xbox 360, and I fell in love with the Xbox 3. Like the Xbox 360 is, in my opinion, one of the best controllers ever made. So
sure. I think the thing is, awful controllers ever made. Just want to use it
since the 360. They've honestly barely changed it. No. But it's similar with the PlayStation. The PlayStation design until the DualSense, they've barely touched the PlayStation.
They evolved until suddenly the DualSense completely shifted it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel really like the DualShock controllers though.
The DualSense is closer to that kind of the Xbox almost.
To me,
which is why I like it.
It's the perfect mix between Xbox and the old DualShocks. But I really like the DualShocks. Like I'm a big fan of DualShocks. I don't think they're uncomfortable. I really like the DualShocks. I hated the Xbox controllers so much. The DualSense is my favorite shape of a controller.
I've been playing Final Fantasy with a controller, and I've been playing it on my Xbox. There's no DualSense features for Final Fantasy Remake Integrate Part 1. No.
Oh no.
So I've just been playing it with my Xbox controller.
I should not talk. Maybe we shouldn't talk about it. But you decided to go controller, not keyboard.
I tried mouse and keyboard, and I said, "What the fuck is this?" And then I switched back to controller. I was like, in general, when it comes to Japanese games, the mouse and keyboard, like loading up a From Software game and then looking at the mouse and keyboard default controls and being like, "What the fuck were they smoking?"
They think differently over there.
But yeah. But it's like it was a combination of this game is only designed to be played on a console and is designed by a Japanese dev as well. It was like I could probably rebind most of these keys and figure it out, but it just feels way easier to play on a controller because it's a hack and slash game.
The camera,
no. Let's move on to Blunders. GTA Online has added a quality of life feature that players have wanted for years, and then upsets everybody by paywalling it behind the GTA Plus subscribers. So, one of the biggest quality of life features people have wanted, when you play GTA Online, you have this phone that you press up on the controller or up on your D-pad, and it pulls up a phone, and you can basically manage a bunch of stuff on your little mobile phone. So you can call in vehicles from your mechanic. You can you can go into missions from your phone. It's basically like a little mini menu. It's the main hub of where you do everything in GTA Online. One of the most requested features in GTA Online was, it's really annoying to have to go to all of my businesses and pick up the money from them that way. it would be cool if I could manage them from the phone. And they're like, yeah, we'll do that.
That makes sense.
We'll make it so that only subscribers paying $8 a month to GTA Plus, the optional GTA Online subscription service, get access to this. So, thanks, Rockstar. Can't wait for GTA 6.
Sorry, how was the price on it?
It's $8 a month for GTA Online subscription.
That seems an insane amount of money.
Yeah.
For that.
It kind of came out and everyone was like, what the fuck is this? This seems like a waste of time. And then they were like, and we're going to add features we could have added to the base game to make you want to buy this useless thing even more.
Oh, dear. Dumb publisher stuff, I assume.
Yep. Well, I heard recently in the news, apparently Rockstar were going to make single-player DLC for GTA 5, according to an ex-dev. But then the GTA Online started making so much money, they just cancelled all plans for making single-player DLC.
Right.
And it's still true to this day.
That is a slap random. Yeah, okay.
You can check us out, youtube.com at Everything Inbetween Podcast if you want to watch the VODs of the podcast. There's currently Steam Next Fest stuff coming out on there. If you're interested in checking out our thoughts on Steam Next Fest, make sure to look that up. I think all of the videos are out now. I think including the favorites video. Let me double check to make sure on that. Yeah, so every video include... Oh my god, why does this video have so many views? I've been testing out... The Relaxing Roguelites video has 388 views. I've been testing... It's our second most viewed video right now of all time.
Okay, that's good.
I've been testing out a feature recently where you do test and compare, where you can upload 3 different thumbnails to a video, and it will show different thumbnails to different people. And it will pick the best one based on how many people clicked on the video. And when I've been doing that recently for videos, they've been getting a lot more views, which is nice to see. So I'll probably be doing that in the future and just trying different thumbnails.
It's basically automating what Veritasium sort of like pioneered, like changing to see what people would click, both titles and thumbnails. So
it's interesting. The thumbnail I sent you this video. The thumbnail I see is different from the thumbnail that has been sent in Discord.
Yeah, it's interesting.
You can check us out twitch.tv/Scorn if you want to watch the live podcast view. Type in the chat. And at Scorn2000 if you want to watch on Twitter for some reason. Follow me on Twitter for some reason. And shows.cast.com/everything-inbetween-podcast. There will be links to the Spotify and Apple podcast versions. That's where I get all of my podcasts from. That's where I listen to Apple Podcasts. Is where I listen to my stuff on my phone. And then if I need to watch an episode of the Joe Rogan Experience, of course I go on Spotify because he's exclusive there, which I find very funny. Yeah. I do sometimes because he sometimes interviews interesting people. Like I watched the Mark Zuckerberg one on there.
Yeah, my issue is that he has no critical. He doesn't like.
Jamie, put up that clip of that chimp smoking.
Yeah, I have issues
DMT.
with his critical thinking. I'll leave it at that. I don't want to get into it because I could go off on one. So
and
critical thinking has issues.
We will see you in 2 weeks for more video gaming news. Goodbye.
Bye.